This is a legendary pack-a-punched weapon. The problem with this weapon is if you go to extract with it, you don't get it pack-a-punched, and it's not going to be legendary if you bring it into another raid. People seem to think that there is no way to carry forward a leveled up or pack-a-punched weapon into the next raid. That is, until today. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be doing something a little bit different on the channel. We have talked a ton about multiplayer, but what you may have not known is I've actually been really enjoying zombies in Modern Warfare 3, and I've actually been playing it completely solo, which turns out to be a little bit difficult. In fact, I have a series on my second channel, which will be linked down in the description, where I'm going through and playing all of the missions solo so that you guys can see how to do it for yourself. I've been really enjoying it. I've been doing it on live streams as well. So if you want to check that out, that is linked down below. There'll be more coming out throughout the year as we get more missions, things like that. So second channel, link down below, subscribe over there. It'd be really greatly appreciated. But as far as this video, I don't know if you guys want to see zombies content on this channel, but what I wanted to do is bring a video to you guys with essentially 10 secret tips that are immediately going to make you better at zombies. They're going to show you how to go into a game, get fully looted, and extract with everything, including your pack-a-punched and leveled up weapons, which you can carry over to the next game. Because that's one of the most annoying things that I've heard people say. You level up all these weapons, you spend all of your essence in a game, and then you extract and you don't get to bring those into your next game. Well, there is actually a way to do it, and I want to show you the best way to get those weapons and the best way, the only way, to actually extract with them at the end of the game. And yes, it is possible. It's just a little bit difficult, but it's doable even solo. I've done it, so I want to show you guys today. So again, if you want to see more zombies content on the channel, if you like the tips and tricks kind of thing, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, all of that kind of jazz. Let me know if you want to see more of this, what you think of this series down in the comments. But without further ado, let me show you what I'm talking about. As I mentioned before, this is a legendary pack-a-punched weapon. In the top corner there on the weapon, you can see a couple little up arrows. This means when you extract, you get to keep that item. It makes it easy to see. However, when you extract with weapons, you do get to keep the weapon, but it's not going to be upgraded and it's not going to be pack-a-punched. Now, I'm going to show you guys essentially 10 tips to loot all of this in one raid, including a 3-plate vest guaranteed and everything like that, and also extract with all of it so you can use everything in your next raid. But let's start out from the very beginning. So I want to start out by going over the loadout, what you should use going into the game. First of all, use one weapon and no secondary weapon. The reason being, you move a lot faster with your fists out, and you're going to want to get around pretty quickly throughout the game. So for most of it, we are simply going to have one weapon, and that is it. As far as your tactical and lethal, I use stims simply because I play solo and sometimes you need a burst of health all at once. And I use a semtex in case we have to deal with any riot shield mercs. It just makes it a lot easier. And then I use energy mine. It just clears out waves of enemies very, very quickly. Another good one is Ether Shroud. If you really get stuck, you can pop this and get away from zombies. It also is going to help out when you go into the tier 3 zone, which we're going to talk about later. Now, one problem you're going to run into because you're playing solo is you can't revive yourself unless you have a self-revive, which, by the way, the best way to get those is simply doing contracts, especially in the tier 2 zone. They spawn quite frequently on completing those. But if you don't have one of those and you want to be able to get revived, a really great way to do this is kill some zombies using explosives. So you can use your grenades, and then when you do, they're going to drop something called chunks of flesh. You pick these up and bring them to a dog kennel. These can be located across the map. They only appear on the map when you are close to them, but they're really easy to find. When you do, you put the chunks of flesh in it, and then all of a sudden, you get a puppy that follows you around. It kills other zombies. It has a ton of health, and more importantly, if you go down, it picks you up. Oh, and by the way, you can pet the dog. That's a problem. My dog just saved me. I love you. So you're in the game, you have a way to get revived. Now you need essence. You need a lot of money to do what we're going to do. So what's the fastest way? Well, one thing that you may not have known about is, you know, those rifts that you find scattered throughout the map, they throw you up in the air and you can parachute down. Well, when you go in those, there's actually essence that spawns in and it gives you a path back down to the ground. All you got to do is fly close to them, pick them up, and you get a ton of essence. In fact, you get more essence from doing this than you do from completing a contract, and it is way faster. That being said, though, you can only do this so many times and you may not find one one of these. So what I like to do almost immediately is find the closest infested stronghold. What you're going to do when you get there is you go in and there's a bunch of spores scattered throughout whatever building you find. The smaller the building, the better. You go in, you shoot those, and then you get like 4 chests of things you can loot. You can get self-revives in here. You can get upgrade parts. There's many great things you can find, 2-plate vests sometimes, and it's going to give you a really good amount of money upon completing it. Now, a couple tips for infested strongholds and infested nests. First of all, if you're having trouble finding the spores, if you pop the perk Death Perception, all of those spores are going to be highlighted through walls in red, and they make it very easy to see. On top of that, you're going to notice here that before going into the stronghold, I dropped my gas mask, which seems really weird, but that's because I wanted to show you something. Normally, to not get damaged by these areas, you have to be wearing a gas mask. However, if you have the perk PhD Flopper, you can have this and you will actually not be damaged because for some reason it protects against explosive damage, and for some reason the gas in here counts as explosive damage. Therefore, you don't get damaged. However, it still does break your armor unless you're wearing a gas mask. Speaking of gas masks, if you don't have PhD Flopper, these strongholds very quickly break your mask. However, if you didn't know this, there's a way to repair them, and it is very, very simple, especially if you have a durable mask that you probably want to keep. When it gets low, all you're going to do is go to an ammo cache. It is going to completely repair your gas masks back to full, and you can keep using it over and over again. Just make sure it doesn't break before you go to one of these because then it's gone. So at this point, you should have a decent amount of money, at least 2,000 essence or around there, and you'll be able to get the rest very quickly. From here, you're going to go to a buy station and buy a stronghold key card. From there, you are going to go to a merc stronghold. The reason being, when you complete one of these, you are going to get a 3-plate vest every single time. And the way you complete it is you open up the door. You're going to have to deal with some mercs, which are super annoying in this. There is going to be at least one riot shield merc, which that's why we have the Semtex. Throw it at him, go boom, get through the stronghold, and then crack the safe. When the safe is done, you are going to open it up, and there's going to be a 3-plate vest in there every single time. These cost 10,000 essence at buy station, so it's absolutely worth it. So you have even more money now. What are you going to do with it? A lot of people, I would say mostly everyone, is going to take their weapon and go pack-a-punch it. That is not what you should do. That costs 5,000 essence, and you can actually spend it way better. What you're going to do is you're going to get a vehicle. Any sort will do. I don't like the big trucks. They move too slow. But get in a vehicle and drive to the tier 3 zone. Don't worry, we're not going to fight in there. What you're going to look for on your map is a wall buy. The reason why we're doing this is because these weapons are legendary. They're the orange weapons on the wall, and they only cost 5,000 essence, and they're going to do more damage than if you were to spend that 5,000 pack-a-punching a base green or a blue weapon. So that is your next thing you're going to do. Go and get your legendary weapon. Now you have an orange weapon that deals a ton of damage, and you should be good to go into the tier 2 zones, and even if you're adventurous, tier 3. So you have all of this done. You're not going to have to do all of this every time because you can keep your 3-plate vest. You can keep self-revives. What you can't keep is your weapon upgraded and pack-a-punched unless you do this. So what you're going to have to do is go into the tier 3 zone and specifically look for this building that you're seeing on your map here. It's part of the castle, and it's easily recognizable because there is smoke coming off of the roof. You are going to get to that building, go to the very top, the roof of it, and there is a burial site. Now, here, you can press a button, or if you're on PC, press F to pay respects. When you do, it's going to strip everything off of your weapon and give you the parts to build it in your next game. However, here's the downside. It seems to not always give you the top tier items. Like, it's not going to give you a legendary ether tool every single time. It's not going to give you a 2nd degree pack-a-punch every single time. But as you can see here, I have a pack-a-punch legendary weapon, and when I dismantle it into its parts, it's going to give me a blue tool, and on top of that, a item that allows me to pack-a-punch my weapon right away. So you only want to do this right before you extract from the game. And when you do, you're going to want to run like hell because you don't have your powerful weapon anymore. So what you're going to do is do this and then bring those items into the next game. Now, what's cool about this is you don't have to put it on the same weapon. So you can now put your ether tool and your pack-a-punch onto, let's say, your insured weapon or any weapon that you want to use within your next raid. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you the exact tier and the exact items that you had, but it is the only way to carry forward an upgraded weapon and a pack-a-punched weapon into the next game with any reliability whatsoever. Now, I would love if they would make it so you could just carry those weapons forward, but for now, you'll just have to press F to pay respects. So hopefully these tips were able to help you out, and I have a ton more of them, including how to get every single perk within Zombies for free every single game. So if you want to see more videos like this one, hit that like button. It really helps out, and it shows me that you want to see more videos like this one. And of course, subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all my videos. But of course, let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're